People ask me all the time how long a Jewish conversion takes, and the frustrating answer is somewhere between usually a year and many years, which sounds wildly unhelpful until you understand what actually affects that timeline. I've seen some people convert in under a year. I've seen people take 15 years. And honestly, faster doesn't necessarily mean shallower, and slower doesn't necessarily mean more legitimate or more thorough. Hi, I'm Kochava. I'm a Jewish convert, and I've been helping people convert to Judaism since 2010 through my blog, buildingajewishlife.com. If you're trying to build a Jewish life without drowning in conflicting advice, you should join my mailing list. You'll get access to a free resource library, and one of those free resources is the Jewish Conversion Timeline. You can find the link down in the description below. One of the biggest mistakes potential converts do is treating conversion like it's a degree program. Like if you just check off enough classes, enough books, enough checklists, you'll graduate on schedule. But that's not actually how any of this works. So if you ask me how long it would take you to convert, my answer would be, it depends. And that's not just because I'm also a lawyer. If you don't know, lawyers can't answer any question without the words, it depends. The general rule is at least 1 year. Rabbis want you to have one full cycle of Jewish holidays. You need to have a full understanding of what you're actually signing up for. Most people can agree that's a pretty reasonable expectation. It's frustrating, though, when you got engaged and then your partner's family demanded that you need to become Jewish, and suddenly you need to become Jewish in 3 months. That's probably not going to happen. Unless you have enough money, because I have seen some unscrupulous things done for donations to the synagogue. I mean, they're sort of on the up and up, but it feels like bribery and corruption to me. Just like in the rest of the world, who you know does matter sometimes. Because as we discuss constantly on this channel, rabbis and Jews are all human beings and make normal human mistakes. So the general rule in Orthodoxy, there's usually going to be about a 2-year process. In theory, they have a bare minimum requirement of 1 year, but some Batei Din, the religious courts that oversee conversions, are increasingly putting in mandates of at least a 2-year minimum. That's why it's important to start contacting your rabbis as soon as you start being interested in things. You want to get the clock started running. And the reason for the 2 years is just that an Orthodox conversion requires a much bigger overhaul of your life and a lot of new skills and topics to learn. And for most people, that just takes longer to implement. So now that we've covered the general rules, here are the factors that can affect your case. A lot of it comes down to the denomination or movement that you're converting with, the location, because different places have different people in charge and different ways of doing things. Your mileage can and will vary depending on where you are. It matters how much access you have to a Jewish community. The less access you have, the longer your conversion is going to take. Many people need to move to be closer to a Jewish community. In an Orthodox community, you generally need to live within walking distance of your planned synagogue, but for the other movements, you would at least need to live within easy driving distance. So maybe you have to move across town, but many people move across state or even to new countries. Your specific rabbi might have a certain process and a way that they like to do things. Your relationship status will affect things. If you have a partner who is Jewish or not Jewish, that's going to affect how long your conversion takes and the steps it will require. I'll link up here to a video about what to do if you're wanting to convert and your partner isn't Jewish and doesn't want to. Your life circumstances have a lot to do with how long your conversion takes. Maybe you're a student and you can't move closer to a Jewish community until after you graduate. That happened to me. I had to wait 2 years to finish my law degree and move to where I needed to live. It's also often finances. A lot of people who are wanting to convert don't have a lot of extra finances laying around. It costs money to move. It costs money to buy books. It costs money to buy Judaica. It costs money to eventually join a synagogue as a member. There are sliding scales and free access for many things if you ask, but it does take a certain amount of money to convert because people need to be paid for the materials and time that they give. It's only fair. Your prior Jewish knowledge matters a lot. There are a lot of people who thought about converting, decided against it, and then come back 10 or 20 years later. Or maybe they start converting in one movement and change to another movement. Your prior time can count in some circumstances. Likewise, the further along you are in how you're living Jewishly will also help you speed up the process. 8, your consistency. A lot of people get really motivated for like 2 months and then they need to back off for a little bit because they burn out. And then they get motivated for another 3 months and then they have to step back for 2 months because they got burnout again. It's better to move slowly but consistently. The more time you spend in burnout, the slower you're going to progress. 9, just community resources that are available to you. Classes, mentors, a mikvah to immerse in to finish the conversion, a beit din, a group of rabbis to oversee the process. Not all communities have these things, so you may need to travel temporarily for a day or two in order to access them as part of your conversion rituals. And 10, how overloaded your rabbi is. They have to make some time for you, and if they're stretched too thin, that means you're not going to get enough of their attention either. There's not a lot you can do about this one, but you'll get a lot farther if you're really sympathetic to the problem. I've run out of fingers, but 11 could be chronic illness, disability, neurodiversity. These things generally make burnout a bigger risk for you than other people. You also may need to make alterations to certain practices in order to fit with your abilities. And if you're autistic like me, you can sometimes get held back because of the social rules that we are famously not that great at. Because a lot of conversion is about relationships between you and the rabbi who's overseeing it, you and the beit din who's overseeing it, and you and the community. Do the best you can and understand that there's a whole lot of neurodiverse people in the Jewish community and especially within the conversion community. Lots of us have converted successfully. Just know that this might be a particular stumbling block that bothers you. And then 12, the grand obstacle that nearly everyone gets drowned by is perfectionism and all or nothing thinking. That if I can't do things perfectly, why even bother doing them at all? Because they don't count. These thinking mistakes will lead you straight into burnout or doing nothing at all. Do your best to tamp them down and embrace small steps done imperfectly. A lot of people feel like they are failing in the conversion process when really all they're doing is being human. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has setbacks. They're perfectly normal and nothing's wrong with you. It would be weirder if everything went perfectly. Now let's go over a few red flags in conversion timelines. The biggest red flag of all, extremely fast conversion with little community involvement. That smacks of, for only 3 easy payments of $499, you too can become Jewish. People are going to be sketched out if they find that out about you. You also might have trouble with your documents later on because that rabbi probably doesn't have a good reputation, and when people see their name on your certificate, they might get sketched out and question the validity of your conversion. Likewise, online-only conversions are not a real thing that any community is actually going to accept. I'll link up here and down below to my video about online conversions and what parts you can do online. The other big red flag is endlessly moving goalposts. The rabbi tells you to read these 3 books and then we'll move forward with a certain step. You read the 3 books and then all of a sudden he says, read 3 books and do this also. Then we'll do the thing. And then the requirements change again and again. This is moving the goalposts, always making it harder and harder to reach your destination. There are arbitrary delays, unclear expectations, and the standard keeps changing. You are not owed an instant conversion, but you are owed dignity and respect and honesty. Some delays are legitimate. Some delays have everything to do with the rabbi and their life and have nothing to do with you. But being opaque and inconsistent can be harmful and can turn into abuse. Moving the goalposts is one of the biggest red flags to me of potentials for emotional abuse or financial abuse. I'll link up here and down below to my video about red flags in the conversion process as a whole. So instead of obsessing over when will I finish, here are some things I want you to focus on instead, because a lot of these things are out of your control. But here are some things that are in your control. Building sustainable practices and rhythms. Building your relationships with your rabbi, with your community members, and with the worldwide Jewish people as a whole. Practicing and learning. Community integration, like attending events. And working on your mental health during this time. You want to build your emotional resilience because this is challenging. This may end up being one of the hardest things you do in your life. It's okay to not feel okay sometimes about it. The goal isn't to just survive the conversion process. The goal is to build a Jewish life that you can keep living afterward. And one thing that keeps coming up in this discussion about time is community. because Jewish conversion doesn't happen in a vacuum. You are becoming part of the Jewish people, and the Jewish people gets a say whether you join us or not. But a lot of people are trying to build a Jewish life without access to an in-person Jewish community. So if you're feeling isolated, far from Jewish resources, or unsure where you fit into things, watch this next video about what you can do when you don't have access to a Jewish community.